In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep, while a wind from God swept over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day.
Hi, welcome to KCC Winnipeg Online. My name is Ron Fisher, and I am the pastor here at Kildonan Community Church here in Winnipeg. Today we're going to take a little journey into God's great creation, so I hope you enjoy the journey. See you soon.
Today's message is taken from John chapter 12, starting at verse 44. John's account of Jesus being with him. It's been about 3 years at this time. And what we are looking at is called the summary of Jesus' teaching. And I thought it was kind of interesting. The summary of Jesus' teaching, it's kind of like the Reader's Digest version of what he's been trying to say over the last little while. 3 years of ministry packed up in about 30 seconds worth of words at this point. So I kind of looked at it and said, so what is that supposed to mean? What is the Reader's Digest version? So I quickly looked it up, and it says it's an abridged or a compressed but a concise version of what was being presented. So it's a complete book, really compressed, and when you finish reading this Reader's Digest version, you really do get the idea of what this is all about. So here I am, out here in the great wilderness, as you see, and I've got a lot of training and a lot of different things, and I got a lot of certifications. And if I had to try and get you to study all that stuff first, and it would take you weeks, if not months long, because I certainly had to study a couple of years through the summers to get to where I'm certified. But what I can do is that from my learning and my teaching, I can take you along on this journey, and you can learn pretty much everything I've done with hands-on, with real-life practical expectations right here. And we'll be able to go work through all the different things that we have, where we have stuff for like Big Blue here, which is for clothing. We got a big barrel over here for our food. We have safety equipment. We got life jackets. And of course, we'll have to have equipment that we can still also build a fire. And the canoe, the paddles, it's all there. Learned all about these things, but you can learn it a lot quicker just by coming along on a journey and experiencing what it's like to be in God's great creation. In John's account of the gospel in the 12th chapter, verse 46, he records Jesus as saying, "I have come as light into the world so that everyone who believes in me should not remain in darkness." I don't know about you, but darkness can be very, very scary. And I think that's probably what it winds up being. We need the light.
Yes, darkness. Darkness is not a good thing. I remember a time when we went camping once, and it was it was actually a cloudy day, and even at night it was a bit cloudy. And so, being out in the middle of nowhere, or no lights around, I stepped away from the campsite and I couldn't see the fire anymore. And I remember looking out there, and I couldn't even see my hand in front of my face. That was dark. I couldn't see where I was stepping, I couldn't see where I was going, and I stubbed my toe on a rock that was sitting down there. I would have clearly seen it when the light would have been there. But sometimes the dark can be really, really scary. You just don't see where you're going. You can't see where you're coming from, and it's just not a good place to be. And for Jesus, he's saying that pretty much the same thing. He wants to bring you into the light so that you know what life is truly all about. Being in the dark about life doesn't get you anywhere, but having the light of life with you and guiding you, that your path and your journey is lit, that you can see where you're going, is always a good thing. So let the light come.
I like Jesus' view on judgment and the journey. I mean, it's hard to do a journey when you're being judged and you have to watch over your shoulder and people are being critical of you, and you have to worry about if you did something right or if you did it wrong. It takes kind of the enjoyment out of that when you know people are watching every step you make and to make sure that you behave yourself. And Jesus is saying, look, I didn't come to judge anyone, so why are you? I didn't come to judge, but I came to save the world. I'm here to reconcile, to bring people back together as it was in the beginning, as it was in the garden. So then who will be the judge? And Jesus makes it clear, my words, my lessons, my teachings, they will serve as judge. And I think this is really interesting when Jesus says, my word will serve as judge. And so I thought I'd take a quick peek at what that was going to mean, because there's something really, really there.
Yes, rules and regulations and how we do things. Everybody's going to need one of these, a life jacket, and we're wearing them on the when we're out on the waters always. So that's just the rule. Don't want anybody drowning. We need safety equipment. We need a baler. We need rope, throw rope. We need that. We need a place to take a place to put our food so that it's airtight and that the bears won't get at it. We need rubberized bags to make sure that if it rains and none of our gear and our clothing are going to get wet. We don't want to be wet campers. And we're going to learn how to pack and what we need to bring and what we don't need to bring. We need to get a really good tent, not your basic Canadian Tire tent, but a really good quality tent that was going to stand potentially some heavy, heavy rains. And you'll be so glad that you made the investment. You might want to have a nice little seat to take along with you that you can enjoy sitting on the ground without getting everything dirty. We're going to learn to make fires, and we're going to do all that. And we're going to learn to do it all safely. And we're going to do all these things, and we're all going to get some paddles, and we're going to learn some paddle strokes. You can get really crazy with them. We can get the J stroke. We can get into Indian strokes, Canadian strokes, or the goon, everybody's favorite, the goon stroke. Doesn't really matter. The idea is that we want to be able to go out in the canoe, learn how to paddle together, work together as we're paddling to make it easy. If you don't work together, you'll never last the hour. Working together, you'll be able to paddle for the day. So those are the things that we're going to do on our course and what we're going to be doing on our trip. And so, yes, there are rules, there are some regulations, there's some procedures that we're going to follow. But I tell you, when you put it all together and you do what we're supposed to be doing, the trip is going to be just awesome. And you will really enjoy it, and you'll understand as we go on why we do the things we do when we do wilderness camping. It's the same thing with Jesus. He was saying in life is the same thing. We need to learn certain ways about doing certain things. How we have relationships with one another, and the essence of judgment, or what do we call a sin, or what is that? So Jesus had a different approach to life, saying you need to be living a fulfilled life now and enjoy it. And yeah, so Jesus was really big on that. And when you go back through all his teachings, it was always about good relationships and how we treat one another, and that we treat them well, and that we seek God, we seek Jesus as being our guide in life.
Well, I'm back from my trip now, and boy, what an amazing journey for everyone. We've taken what we learned, we applied it, and it allowed us to have an amazing trip. Um, we followed the safety protocols. We used all our skills that we were taught,
And at the end, it was one of the most amazing trips, even for those people who didn't really want to wear their life jackets in the boats because it was too hot or too sunny. But everybody had a great time. And I think that's what Jesus is driving at. Um, Jesus taught us lots of wisdom, lots of lessons while he was with us. And Jesus was really, really interested in making sure that we understood that um, while we may enjoy our time with Jesus and God when we come to the end of our life and we join him around the table in heaven, but what do we do about today? What does Jesus mean for us today? What's the gospel mean for us daily in our lives? And I think what Jesus is driving at is this. Here are the lessons, here are the skills. Follow the rules, and life is going to be an amazing journey. And so that's what I think we need to grab a hold of is we look at Jesus as our guide in life, our teacher, and looking at his wisdom and his strength that with the help of the Holy Spirit. And it draws us better in life and to getting to know and share a life with God and with Jesus in a very spiritual and meaningful way. And when we are completed with life, we will say in the end, wow, that was an amazing journey. I'm sure glad that Jesus was my guide. Well, now that I'm finished my trip, I thought I would let you take a trip. And so grab your life jackets and put your sun protection on. Don't forget your sunglasses and your hat. Grab your paddle. Remember your techniques. And enjoy this little trip. And I will see you when you get